This audio recording is intended to facilitate the gradual release of confidential documents pertaining to a top-secret exchange program of 12 U.S. military personnel to the planet Serpo, which is located in the Zeta Reticuli star system in the years 1965 through 1978. This is Posting 5 by Anonymous. Thank you for the cooperation you display regarding my information. Your attention to this matter is highly and greatly appreciated. I sometimes type faster than I think, and thus my fingers make the grammar spelling errors. My colleagues and I are discussing several different options regarding the release of this information. First, we must obtain proper sanctions from past officials. The group called MJ-12, which wasn't really the group that controlled the information, but for the sake of clarity, we'll just call them MJ-12. The actual name of the group who controlled, managed, and oversaw the Serpo project was blank. Many have died, but we still have a few around. We are asking their approval for release. Next, we must obtain current official sanctions. This may be a little more difficult. Current DIA officials have very little knowledge of this subject matter. However, we will move ahead with our plans. Our main supporter is blank, a former director of blank. He is in our corner and will support our gradual release plan. The proposal by one of your readers, Bill Hamilton, regarding the website is a great idea. With the cooperation of several co-authors, we might create a website and post some information on that site. Until then, I will continue to provide the official information only through you. Regarding the website, I know we have some hurdles to overcome. Maybe that wouldn't be a good first step, but we have several different options. If Plan A doesn't work, maybe Plan B might. We have discussed everything from an international press conference to a national press club news conference. We are also considering your suggestion of releasing 100 key pages out of the 3,000 to you, and then you forwarding them around the country to the 6 key individuals you named in your email. Dr. Blank, Dr. Blank, and blank. Of these individuals, I agree with you that it would be of manifest importance to have someone like Dr. Blank, who has the stature and prominence in the scientific community, come on board and in the loop to not only give credibility to the program release, but also to assist in explaining the complex scientific physics theories and principles to the layperson. We'll let you know. I will provide some answers to the many questions once I find them. Remember, I have over 3,000 pages of it to view and another 2 sizable volumes of other supplementary data. I've studied the documents and the debriefing data. I cannot find answers to everyone's questions, but I did find some answers, especially to those posed by UFO Thread List member Bill Ryan. I find some of the questions from various list members to be very disturbing. I expected thoughtfulness in the response rather than criticism. The information I am providing is coming directly from official documents, but I guess it's difficult for our Earth-based scientists to understand something foreign to them. The criticism being displayed by your list of scientists doesn't bother me. I'm just stating what the official documents say. As for the scientific calculations, our Earth-based scientists had the same questions. Our home-based scientists questioned the collection method of the team. But in the end, our home-based scientists figured out that our applied scientific principles did not always work on planet Serpo. Once our scientists' minds were open, the calculations were made to prove the team's data. One of the principal home-based scientists, astronomer, contracted to assist us was Dr. Carl Edgar Sagan. Initially, he was the biggest skeptic of the group, but as information was slowly analyzed, Dr. Sagan came back to the middle. I can't say he fully accepted every single piece of data, but he did agree on the final report. Lively discussions bring out some very interesting questions, some of which I cannot find answers to. Although our team spent over a decade, our time, on Serpo and nearby planets, they did not have a laptop computer to enter all data. They had 2 recorders who were responsible for writing down the data. Our team acknowledged that a lot of the data was lost or not documented. Bill Ryan's questions. Regarding time, the team members brought several timepieces, for example, wristwatches non-battery style as it stated in the debriefing data. The timepieces worked, but they had no reference to time since the even days were longer, the dusk and dawn periods were longer, and they had no calendars to reference. They did use the timepieces to calculate movement, for example, timing the movement of the Ebens' two sons. They also calculated the time between work and rest periods, but after a while, the team discarded their timepieces and used the Ebens' measurement of time periods. The team became confused with the calendars they brought, a 10-year calendar. After 24 months, the team lost track of time as to the calendar since they could not properly calculate days compared to Earth days. They set up one large clock to the Earth time when they left. However, this was a battery-controlled clock, and when the battery died, the clock stopped and they forgot to change the battery in time. Consequently, they lost the Earth time. The team brought a large quantity of batteries, but they ran out after about 5 years. The Ebens had no comparable items like batteries. They also took electric razors, coffee pots, electric heaters, a DIM, no explanation as to what this was, an electric IBM typewriter, a scientific calculator, slide rules, both conventional and scientific, base data collection recorder, 3 different size telescopes, tangents, both conventional and electrical. The list goes on, but they took about everything they were allowed to take as to weight. The Ebens did weigh the equipment taken by our team. The weight limit was 4.5 tons or 9,000 pounds. As for food, the team took sea rations, military style. They carefully planned for 10 years. Another question pertains to the team makeup. Why were only 2 females taken? If one considers the monumental problem associated with picking a team of 12 people where each person must be totally erased from the military system, no family ties, no spouse, and no children, one can see the difficulty that the selection group had. The selection group picked the best team members from a limited pool of military people. The original selection group picked 158 people. The final 12 were selected from that number. If you consider the psychological, medical, and other tests that had to be administered, the final 12 were the best qualified from the original number. Why they chose 2 females was never written. Apparently, those 2 females were the best qualified in their individual specialty, a doctor and a linguist. How did the Ebens advance so quickly? Nothing was written about this. But Earth-based scientists surmised that since the Eben culture consisted of just one species, their advancement excelled and accelerated more rapidly than a civilization that consisted of different species, different languages, etc. Why are there only 650,000 in the Eben civilization? Again, the team never found the answer except that many hundreds of thousands of Ebens died in the Great War. Earth-based social behavior specialists surmise that the Eben civilization was structured to accommodate their own needs. Our team did find limited supplies of commodities on their planet. Large buildings were used to harvest food products. The soil wasn't rich in a lot of minerals. Ebens used a form of organic agriculture to harvest food items. Maybe the Ebens were scared that if they overpopulated the planet, they couldn't provide for their citizens. This is only my idea and not anything written in the official records. As to the Eben culture, they had a form of musical entertainment. The music sounded like tonal rhythms. They also listened to a type of chanting. The Ebens were dancers. They celebrated certain work periods with a ritual dance. The Ebens would form a circle and dance around, listening to the chanting type of music. The music was played on bells and drums or something similar to them. There were no televisions, radio stations, or anything like that. The Ebens played a game, something like soccer, but with a larger ball. The object was to kick the ball down a field into a goal. The game had very strange rules and played for long periods of time. They also had another game, mostly played by the children, that consisted of making formations with a group of Ebens. They seemed to really enjoy the game, but our team found little understanding of the game. Although the Eben civilization had no television, radio, etc., each Eben had a small device belted to their waist. This device gave orders to perform a particular task, news of pending events, etc. The device displayed a screen similar to a television screen, but in a 3D style format. Our team brought back one of these devices. I think today we could compare it to a Palm Pilot. The Ebens energy device was analyzed over and over again by our team. Since our team did not have access to scientific microscopes or other measuring equipment, we could not understand the functions of the energy device. But regardless of the electrical demand, the Eben energy device provided the proper current and wattage. Our team surmised the device had some sort of regulator that sensed the required current wattage and then supplied that specific amount. Note, our team members brought back 2 energy devices for analysis. Serpo moved around one sun only. The other sun was within the 2 orbits. As I said before, there were hundreds of pages of calculations in the debriefing explaining all of this. Why some team members remained. The debriefing reported that team members who remained did so voluntarily. They fell in love with the culture of the Ebens and the planet. They were not ordered to return. Communication with the remaining crew members lasted until about 1988. No other communication was received from those team members. The 2 who died on planet Serpo were placed in coffins and buried. Their bodies were returned to Earth. Each team member received a large dose of radiation during their stay on Serpo. Most of the team members died later of radiation-related illnesses. The Ebens fought a battle with an enemy for a period of time. Our team members estimated the war lasted about 100 years, but again, that is our time. The war was fought using particle beam weapons developed by both civilizations. The Ebens eventually were able to destroy the enemy planet, killing the remaining enemy forces. The Ebens did warn us that several other alien races within our galaxy were hostile. The Ebens stay away from those races. The debriefing document never stated the name of the enemy, probably because they no longer existed. Fast facts on Dr. Carl Sagan, Victor Martinez. Born in Brooklyn, New York on 11/9/34 and died in Seattle, Washington on 12/20/96 of bone marrow cancer. He was an American astronomer, educator, and planetary scientist and was the director of the Laboratory for Planetary Studies at Cornell University. Connecting the dots. Project Serpo's final report was written in 1980 with Dr. Sagan having been brought in halfway through the project. It is believed that he wrote his 1985 bestseller Contact based on his insider knowledge of the most secret project in human history, a human-alien exchange program of which he signed off on its final report. Years later, his book was made into the 1997 movie Contact starring Jodie Foster. And that is the end of Posting 5 by Anonymous. And that is going to be it for this video. If you like things like this, please give this video a thumbs up. Please share this video. And if you're new to the channel, please subscribe. I'll have more things like this. Take care.